Welcome, Baked Alaska. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
So I was checking you out because I actually didn't know that much about you. I follow you on Twitter and I've enjoyed a lot of your tweets and seeing that you've definitely made a progression. But here's one I want to queue up. Before poll and after poll. So what's going on here?
Well, yeah. I mean, before poll, I was a very different person. But I've seen the meme. I know what you're talking about. And before poll, I was engaged in lots of degenerate things. I was this crazy kind of parody rapper, and being in Hollywood, the things that go on there, but yeah, I mean, I love that meme so much because it has shown how I've had such a transformation in the last 4 years and where I'm at now. And, even, coming over to the Trump side and then, learning more. And, I've always been someone who seeks the truth. And, I voted for Ron Paul. That was kind of my first awakening, was Ron Paul, libertarian. I was, really excited about that. And then I just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And so here I am today.
And then you found the alt-right. We'll look you up one of your videos because I want to show people some of your parody. I just found out about this 20 minutes ago. So
Sure.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
Baked Alaska.
So how long have you been doing these videos?
I've been doing comedy music videos for about the last 3-4 years, I would say. So.
And you even played the Warped Tour, which is a pretty big deal in America.
Yeah. I played the Warped Tour. I've toured with Riff Raff. I've played with a bunch of mainstream acts, which has been really fun. And my goal with this is just to inspire kids to have fun, to, real life trolling is kind of my thing. So I like to, have people think I was some trap rapper from Alaska, this redneck who had, turned into a thug. That was kind of my act. And I always keep people guessing. So people never really knew what I was doing. And they're like, wait, I thought he was this, or I thought he was that. That's a big part of what I do. I'm a big fan of Andy Kaufman, of, the deep performance art really gets me going.
And now recently, well, I have to tell you, I was taking a break for a couple of weeks and I flipped on the news. I was scanning through the news online and I saw all these headlines mentioning you. We'll cue up some of these headlines. Mentioning you, Cernovich, and Deploraball. And contrary to what the lamestream says, Cernovich isn't alt-right. And you and Cernovich having a disagreement's hardly an alt-right meltdown or civil war, like they were saying. So tell us, prominent alt-right leader, as they called you, what is the Deploraball and how did you become too deplorable to attend it? What happened?
Sure. Well, obviously, I'm the prominent leader of the alt-right. Everyone in the alt-right knows this.
Hail, Baked Alaska.
Yeah. I mean, the only person more extreme than me is probably, Ben Garrison, maybe Steven Crowder. But besides that, I'm the most extreme on the alt-right. But yeah, so this whole thing happened, and I was part of an organization called MAGA3X, and I started the Twitter account, I started the Facebook account, I started the flash mobs, I did a lot, but it is what it is. But it all boiled down to freedom of speech, and these guys are out there saying freedom of speech no matter what, and I started tweeting as I always do, and this wasn't anything really out of the ordinary, but I had started to get more red pilled in the last couple months, and there was this weird dynamic where we were talking before the show, where before Trump got elected, we all kind of agreed okay, don't no infighting, no criticizing each other, no critiquing each other until Trump gets elected. And I think that actually bottled up a lot of emotions and thoughts and critiques that were actually very healthy that we couldn't talk about. And so that's why I think this all happened. I think we needed to kind of have some healthy conversations between maybe the alt-right and the alt-right and just be able to disagree and all that. And it, as you know, it was just this huge taboo. So after the election was over, I was kind of like, just, fuck it. I'm gonna say what I want to say. If I want to explore something, if I want to explore the truth, I'm going to. So I brought up, the question, which we call the JQ, Jewish influence in media. And I'm merely bringing up a question. I'm talking about it.
Sure.
People are acting like I went on some like Mel Gibson rant. Like,
Oh yeah.
This was a huge fan of Mel, by the way. Like, I love Mel Gibson, but like, this was not my Mel Gibson moment. The media will portray it as that, of course. And I got, the Daily Show's asking me to come on. I'm sure they're going to smear me as a Nazi, of course. But this was not some crazy Mel Gibson moment. This is, it was merely asking questions. And so, the question I would ask back is, when does free speech stop? At what point, what are the boundaries of free speech for you guys? Because apparently, you can say transgenders are a mental disease and, all these things about Muslims and everyone else, but, don't criticize Jewish people.
That's right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's dangerous.
Yep.
And like, the more they said this to me, like, the more it like, it's just human nature. The more I wanted to question it. I'm like, that's like, why do you think all these like preachers' daughters, end up being strippers or whatever, because
it's taboo around it, right? Yeah.
So much. It's taboo their whole life. And so they naturally, being a skeptic, I want to question it.
And the thing is with you, you're not even extreme. You're so mellow. You just, I read through your tweets, I see is a healthy line of questioning in the day and age that we're in. Milo's even been questioned about this. And he even said, well, they're right. The Jews do control a lot of things.
The alt-right people, the people who like me, they're not anti-Semites. They don't care about Jews. They may have some assumptions about Jews. They may have some prejudice about Jews, like the Jews run everything. Well, we do. The Jews run all the banks. Well, we do. The Jews run the media. Well, we do. They're right about all that stuff.
But then you got attacked so hard for it. And why do you think that is? You're getting attacked from every side, basically.
Yeah, and that's really sad. And I think, I think the people involved on the right that are attacking me should really be ashamed of themselves, because, I expect the left to attack me. I expect them to come after me. But, coming from your own people that saw what I did during this campaign for getting Trump elected, people know what I did. People know I'm a good guy, and having close friends come out and spread lies about me. People were saying I'm a junkie. My mom pays my rent. They were looking up my credit score. They were doxing me, and the people that know me really well. And it was just sad because, I'm actually sober. Anyone who knows me knows I don't drink at all. I don't do drugs that, I did in the past, but now I don't at all. So that was really sad to see. But basically, they see that the alt-right is causing damage to their narrative. We are making big moves in the culture. We're making big moves in history right now. And, I think all these people are afraid to, debate people from the alt-right. They're afraid to debate Richard Spencer or Andrew Anglin. And because they're afraid that they're going to be right. And so I think, the left is always going to criticize, but I think the right now is the alt-right is realizing, they're realizing that they're becoming irrelevant. They're calling us racist and Nazi, the very thing that they preached against all season long. Now that, we are the new people, we are the real dangerous people, the edgy people asking real questions, that is now threatening their careers, their brands, as you would say. That's why I believe they're coming after me so hard.
Yeah, people are free to do their own thing, whatever. I'm not going to attack them for having their Deploraball, whatever, as cheesy as I think it may be. And yeah, it's like you said earlier, it's good we all got Trump elected, but that doesn't mean we have to agree with everything a few, arrogant, shifty people who voted for him say now. But the elephant in the room, like you said, is the fact that a certain group of free speechers not too long ago who were saying that they were alt-right are now silencing, right? Silencing,
Yeah.
shaming, and blacklisting people who go into certain topics, name, the JQ or World War II history. And they side with the left when it comes to these issues, and they kind of contort and kind of backpedal to justify their view of why it's a no-go zone. So people like us aren't the ones who are unwilling to talk with those with opposing views. It's actually the other way around. People like you and I will talk to anybody pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'll talk to anybody and, on all sides of the aisle, and people who have watched my Periscopes and watched me during the election. I've talked to all sorts of types of people, and that is true equality, I believe, is, being open to talking to everyone and hearing every viewpoint. One of the funniest things about this too is that I'm going to the real inauguration. Like I've been invited to Trump's actual inauguration. And so I will be going there. And meanwhile, I'm banned from this unofficial, cocktail cuckfest. I'm going to the real inauguration.
That's great.
So is, Hillary Clinton. Maybe I'll, bump into her, buy her a drink or whatever. But the seriousness that was taken by this, it's so blown out of proportion. And I think that shows you, where these people's minds are at, about their brand. It was my bid. My bid was to throw a party for free and just to celebrate all the volunteers and all the people who came out and helped, and just to have something free. And then, all these coincidences started happening, and all of a sudden the ticket prices, they're $2,500. They're making a profit off it, and they're trying to make a super PAC out of it. And I just think this whole situation got blown out of proportion, and it was defying the very principles that we stood for during the election, which was, anti-establishment, getting money out of politics and all that. So I think from the beginning, this whole event was destined to fail.
Yeah, and then I saw Cernovich calling you the charlatan and the liar and saying you're not using your real name and just going off. So how do you respond to his claims that you're the charlatan?
See, I thought everyone knew Baked Alaska was not my real name. I thought that was like...
Wait, it's not? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought that was really, really apparent that was not my real name. So are we really going to go through the list of rappers that don't use their real name? So can we start attacking Snoop Dogg now and Vanilla Ice? And are we really going to go after people for their real names?
And then secondly, people that are in the alt-right, look at what happened to, our friend Emily Yukis, for instance, used her real name, but, gets fired. Like, this is a real thing. So you can't come down on you for that. That's ridiculous. Who did leak out your real name, by the way?
So Mike Cernovich posted my birth name on his blog. Thank you, Mike. And many other false facts, and part of using a stage name and all that is protecting my family. My people have also attacked my family, tried putting out their tax records and all that. My parents are Christian missionaries. They go and help orphanages in Russia. We have I have 5 adopted Russian sisters, actually.
Nice.
We have a big family, big European family. And my parents are great people. So, for people to come after my parents and to be doxing them and to be doxing my real name, I find that despicable. And, there's nothing to hide. Go look at my real name. It's, you can call me Tim. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But, these people are trying to destroy my life. I've had people on the right, not on the left. I've had people on the right tell me I'll never have a job again. I'm now a neo-Nazi. My whole career is over. No one in media will ever touch me again, and all this stuff. So this has, made me double down on my beliefs because, if people are threatening, I won't have money and power and influence and be untouchable merely for being mild on the JQ and bringing up questions like this, then what's going to happen to someone who is even, more right wing than I am? What's going to happen to them? So I think my story should be an example of, how terrible people can react on the right side and on the left side. And hopefully we can, I appreciate all the support. Like, the alt-right has really come behind me during this time, and I can't thank you guys enough. But hopefully we can come up with some solutions to standing up, having each other's backs and not letting these attacks get to us.
Absolutely. Well, we're with you. We're not going to say, we can't talk to you because you questioned this period of history or this group that does this. But yeah, let's question Muslims. No problem, all day long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Well, maybe it's a good thing that you're not there. I was looking at the lineup. Let's see. There's one guy who's talking. Let's pull him up here. Lucian B. Wintrich. I mean, check this guy out. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Scroll. What's going on here? And this guy like actually does naked kind of gay pictures or something.
Really?
I mean, it's like, okay. So, I mean, yeah, check that out. So maybe it's a good thing that you're not speaking as part of that line.
Yeah, maybe it is a good thing. And it's funny that, I've been told, oh, you're untouchable in media again and all this stuff. But I just got the Daily Show just reached out to me. I just had, interviews with Reuters and all sorts of people. People want to talk to me. So I think, people on the right are afraid of the alt-right getting any spotlight. They're afraid it's going to take away from what they're doing. But we've had this whole thing, don't punch to the right. And, we never disavowed the alt-right. We never said we can't talk to them. So why are they doing that to us? And these very people who are attacking me, you can go back and see their tweets and they say, oh, I would never call anyone racist or a Nazi. That's what the left does. So it's so hypocritical.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, there's some people that are just copycats, and I look at a lot of this stuff around Deploraball, and it's picking up a lot of the alt-right lingo on the website. They've got they've got Pepe's there, and they even say this has been Pepe approved commentary. I mean, it's very cheesy. So anytime there's copycats, it's never going to last. They're not the originators of this kind of thing. But they're also trying to take all this credit for getting Trump elected, which is kind of ridiculous, kind of arrogant, actually. That's what turns me off about the whole thing.
Absolutely. And my main focus is, fighting the cultural aspect of this war. Like I said, that's why I am an entertainer and I focus on being an entertainer. I think in the alt-right, we need to have people like me that maybe aren't, super extreme, that can bring people in and tell people more about the movement and be someone who's fun and makes funny songs. And then we have some, more serious people. So I think it's, as this movement grows, I think it's important to have a spectrum of different thoughts and different types of people and different types of art. The culture is where everything happens. And what I've been really focusing on talking about on my Twitter is, how white identity is under cultural assault. Like, I just find it disgusting how, the media has made it okay to hate on whites. It's such a double standard. It's not even funny. Like, I post tweets all the time, people saying they wish white people would die. They wish, whites would be genocided and all this stuff. And they're not joking and it's not taken seriously. But then if you, criticize one certain group or you're a Trump supporter or whatnot, you're automatically suspended. So I find that very troubling, and that's what I really push for. I tell people, you should be proud that you're white. There's nothing wrong, with your European heritage. That is completely fine. And I was actually watching, there's some great, I don't know if you're a fan, but there's some great Stefan Molyneux videos kind of on this topic. And, he was talking about how, the Jewish run media pushes this diversity, multiculturalism, in the media to the U.S. Like you look at the companies that, like BuzzFeeds and the Huffington Posts and people like that, Vice. And the whole hypocrisy of this is that, when you ask them, oh, well, diversity is great, multiculturalism is great, why don't we have some of that diversity in Israel? And it gets, you just hear crickets.
Yeah, exactly.
You just hear crickets.
Yeah.
But I think, bringing up logical points like these, these are great ways to get people to start thinking about things in a logical way, because you can't really argue with that. If you ask someone of the Jewish faith, do you want to import 10 million Japanese people or whatever, they're going to be like, no, it's got to be majority, it's got to be majority Jewish. But then if you're a white person and you want, a majority European in your country, oh, you're KKK, you're racist, you're a Nazi.
And see, and these are their weak points, and we've found those weak spots, and we pick at those weak spots. That's why they're warring against the alt-right so much. I mean, it's important to ask these basic questions, and that's something that you're doing, and I'm thankful for. And it's really spreading. More people are starting to question, why is that? And I was thinking in terms of the Deplorable crew, they could have just said, hey, I don't agree with his views, but I still support the right to free speech and inquiry, so he'll still be speaking at this event. I think that would have been a far stronger statement, but they're just completely unwilling to have any kind of dialogue. Anyone is, actually. We try to find people to debate, let's have a debate. Let's hear the other side and have them come on and debate the alt-right. They're terrified of it. No one wants to do it, and it's because the truth is on our side. Yeah, absolutely. The truth totally is. And, there's some famous quote. It's the truth isn't afraid of a question. Something like that. But, even in the media today, I saw 3 different cultural hit pieces against the alt-right. Like the establishment on the right and the left, I've never seen before, is terrified of, us damaging their narrative. We're doing some real damage here, which is a huge victory, but we also need to stay vigilant, and we need to stay fighting this every day. They want to paint us as these gross, sexless, basement dwelling, women haters, which is completely not true. We're actually for traditional family values, having a wholesome family, and having lots of white kids. And, I'm completely on board with the 14 words. So, we need to build up traditional family values again. We need to do this. It's so important. And this is what part of what I've been talking about. And we need more beautiful, alt-right women to have their voices heard, like you and Melissa, who I believe you talked to recently, the new femme. Yep.
I think you had her on. Yeah. These voices are so important. And the mainstream culture keeps shutting us down, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep coming, and it's obviously they're signaling that they're scared, so we got to fight harder. And back to your point earlier, so that's part of why these alt-right people are cucking out, because they're realizing, okay, now the power structure, the big media is threatening. If you're associated with alt-right in any way, you're going to be blacklisted from all this mainstream media stuff, and so they've found a way where the alt-right can kind of cuck out and not talk about certain things and go along. They're really siding with the leftists on so many points, which is sad because they've been preaching the opposite. But this really is their way to cuck out and to, save their spot for their brand, for the mainstream media, even though they say they hate the mainstream media. I mean, if you really don't care about what the mainstream media thinks, you would have treated this whole situation differently, and you wouldn't be coming after people like me and Richard Spencer and the rest of the alt-right.
What's so funny, because I know Cernovich was attacking at Richard Spencer for hosting an event at the National Press Club, right? And he also invited lots of press, and he was putting them down for it. Well, here he is doing the same damn thing, isn't he?
I did not think about that. That is true.
Oh,
that is true. I remember he called Richard Spencer on his Periscope. He's like, and I've defended him for a long time, but the moment he was like, Richard Spencer is controlled op CIA, and went on this rant, I was like, you lost me, bro. Like mine was blown because he pulled those facts out of his ass. That was completely made up. Yeah. So that's where he lost me.
I bet you they're worried now, this Deploraball committee. I don't know who's all putting it on, several people or what, but they're probably worried that people are going to show up and do some salutes there or something. You know?
Oh, I absolutely hope there's salutes there. And there will be. I mean, well, here's the funny thing. So Sam Hyde, after he was, after he said he wasn't going because of Spencer getting banned, Sam Hyde actually gave his ticket to Jonathan Lee Riches, if you're familiar.
No, who's that?
So he's like a straight up Nazi, like an open Nazi. Like he's like doing Heils on his timeline. And apparently he's known, you got to look him up for, he's sued like over 2,500 people for like the most ridiculous things. Like he sued the Guinness Book of World Records for like, when they put him in, and like, he's just this insane, like he's very funny. He's this crazy troll. I think he spent like 10 years in federal prison for some like credit card scam. He's an interesting guy.
So he's going to be there.
He's probably going to sue me for what I'm saying right now, so that's how funny this guy is. But no, I think he's great. And Sam Hyde has given his ticket to this guy. So I can guarantee there will be some Heils going on. And I mean, what do you expect when you say 100 times, please no Roman salutes, please no Roman salutes.
Exactly.
What the fuck do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen?
That's funny. Well, the press is calling it Deploraball. Here, I have a tweet here. A white nationalist event, and one's even saying a white nationalist prom. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, well, they are calling it all these names. That's what I tried to tell them. They're calling it all these names that they were already going to call them in the beginning, and now they're not going to have the true alt-righters there to defend them. So sorry, guys. All the tough guys. If I'm going to be in a foxhole with someone, I think I'd rather have very strong alt-righter with me than some like alt-light cuck like I won't name any names, but you know what I mean? Like the actual tough people that really care and are really going to defend us are not going to be present at the event. And I already see there's organized march that's going to be there and like all sorts of things attacking them. So, they're the ones who jumped the shark and didn't stand up for their own people. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and they also made it very clear on Eventbrite.com. It says, is this an alt-right event? The answer is no, right? They're saying it's for people of all backgrounds, ethnicities, and walks of life, right? They're making it very clear. And, no hateful...
Because the alt-right hates everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're like. No, hateful remarks or gestures that go against the fun, respectful, open basket spirit of the event.
Man, this has gone so far away from things that even the Trump movement stands for that it's ridiculous. Man, I wish them the best. I hope they have fun. I will be busy at the official Trump inauguration. So I hope you guys have fun, but there will definitely be some Roman salutes there. I can guarantee that.
So what's next for you? Where do you go from here?
Sure. Well, I had my Mel Gibson moment. So, I'm going to work on some big projects now. Maybe, maybe not as big as Passion of the Christ or Braveheart or What Women Want. But, I'm working on a new country album, working on some new music. I used to rap. I used to make a bunch of degenerate stuff. And now I want to make more traditional, wholesome family value stuff. So I realized And I already look like a redneck because I am from Alaska. I do want to make
like
a country.
redneck.
I don't? Okay, thank you.
No.
People always say look like I'm some inbred, but
No, I would say more like in the Seattle 90s scene. That was a good time.
okay. I've also heard like Vikings, that new Viking show.
I see that too.
Yeah,
That's a
look like
compliment.
that guy with the hair. Yeah,
That's good.
Not too bad.
Wait, so you're saying you weren't born knowing all about cultural Marxism right outside the womb? You actually have a past and did some dumb things before?
Yeah.
You weren't always a nationalist and a white
wish
advocate?
I was like you guys, but well, actually, funny you bring that up. There was a great piece, and I can't thank him enough. So Andrew Anglin, he wrote a piece about me on the Daily Stormer, and basically it talked about why purity tests will kill us all, and just he came out in defense of me, and that we can't be as a movement we can't be turning away people that are open to this stuff. And like I said, I'll be the first to admit I feel like on the whole spectrum of alt-right, I'm more on the mild side. But I'm I can embrace the 14. I'm probably not embracing the 88, but I'm also not disavowing the 88 people. And I love the wisdom that comes from them, and I'm learning so much from them. And like these are smart guys. Like these aren't dumb people. They have a amazing understanding of history, an amazing understanding of our culture, and how everything works. And so it's really an honor to be a part of the movement. And I've been just overwhelmed by support. It's been great.
Well, and we're all lucky to have you. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
All right. Thanks so much. Hope to be back soon.